there were reports that came out, and we had breaking news that Cam Newton agreed to a 1-year deal with the Patriots, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN. So we know it's been a long wait and a long holdout for Cam Newton waiting to get a job and get an opportunity to play football, Clarence. The Panthers released Cam Newton in March. So my question for you is, as we start the show today, and we're going to start off with Cam Newton news, what was your initial reaction to seeing the Patriots bring in Cam Newton?
To me, I was very shocked, but I was so pumped for Cam Newton getting another opportunity to play in the NFL again. And when Bill Belichick they played the waiting game to bring on Cam Newton, it was the smart thing to do. And it can pan out well if he does everything that he wants them to do. But I'm happy for Cam Newton because he finally got the opportunity. He's been working his butt off for like these past few months. He just been showing like positive vibes, and that he still can play at the elite level. And now the New England Patriots, they're taking this risk on them. So I just feel like this is like a low risk, high reward for them, man. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect term for it. Low risk, high reward for the Patriots. They got Cam Newton on a 1-year deal on an incentive-based contract. So he's going to be able to earn his money by different things that he can accomplish throughout the season. But first and foremost, the first thing I want to get out the way is there is no quarterback competition. I've been seeing people talk about it's a possibility that Stidham is going to be competing for the starting job with Cam Newton. Let me be clear. If Cam Newton is on your team and you bring him in, he is going to be the starter week 1 for the New England Patriots. Make no mistake about it, Clarence. Cam Newton will be the starter for the New England Patriots when they open up the season. It is no more a competition. It never was one to begin with the quarterbacks that they have on the roster. They weren't very good. But now that Cam Newton's in the fold, Cam Newton is the clear-cut starter, and he will be the starter week 1. So let's get that out the way first. Now, number 2, when it comes to Cam Newton, I believe Cam Newton as a player, he has 2 things going for him. He's hungry to prove others wrong, and he's healthy as well. So because he's hungry and he's healthy, he is going to be motivated this season to play some great football for the New England Patriots. And also, Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick, although he's been arguably the greatest coach of NFL history, a lot of people got questions as to whether or not Bill Belichick can win without the great Tom Brady. So this gives Bill Belichick an opportunity to prove that it was a system, not all Tom Brady. So I'm excited to see both of these 2 individuals, and Bill Belichick and Cam Newton, who both have a lot to prove. You could argue that Bill Belichick and Cam Newton are 2 people that have the most to prove in the NFL this upcoming season. So I'm excited that they're going to get a chance to team up in New England, and I think they're going to bring the best out of each other, and I'm excited to see it. And I also want to put the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bills on notice because Cam Newton has arrived in New England. So we all thought that the Bills and the Dolphins and the Jets had an opportunity to win the AFC East, and Bill Belichick said, "Hey, hold my water. Here we go." I'm excited about it.
I'm excited too, but at the same time, I still think that Nuke Cam is probably won't have a bigger impact than what you're thinking. To me, I still feel like the Buffalo Bills, they're still at the head of the pack of winning the AFC North. Like Stephon Diggs solidified their most important need on the team, and bringing him on, it makes them a legitimate threat. They already got a good defense, and I'm gonna get to that Patriots team too, though. The Patriots defense is awesome, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong; they got one of the best DBs in the league. Like Stephon Gilmore, he's legit, man. He's the defensive player of the year. Like he's legit. I can't lie about that. But that's just on the defensive side. But the offensive side is where all the question is involved. Now you don't have enough talent at the receiving core, but you have enough talent in Cam Newton that he can lead the pack. And they drafted 2 other tight ends. His name was Matt. I can't pronounce his name. Asiana, something like that. But they are a good future tight end. So I like how New England is going in the same way. But man, Trey, I still got Buffalo winning the AFC East, man.
Nah, the Patriots bringing in Cam Newton, it changed things for me, Clarence. And that blink of an eye, it changed things for me. I thought the Patriots were going to be one of those teams that would be like 7-9, 8-8. I think Cam Newton increases their wins by at least 3 games. So I thought they were going to be like 7-9. Now I think they can be a legitimate 10-6. They'll get into the playoffs. They might win the AFC. If they get into the playoffs and they got that great defense and you got a dual threat quarterback in Cam Newton, I believe it'll be a recipe for success, and Patriot Nation will be excited about the replacement that took over after Tom Brady and Cam Newton. I think if anybody can handle being the successor to Tom Brady, it's Cam Newton. We're talking about a 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback, 2015 NFL MVP. He had 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and that MVP season in 2015, also he was an Offensive Player of the Year. You know, obviously when he came into the league, he came into the league making noise. In 2011, won Rookie of the Year, became the first player to throw for over 400 yards in his first game. Like, Cam Newton was literally the best player in that Carolina Panthers organization. And that's another thing I want to say too, because I thought they kind of disrespected Cam, how they treated him towards the end of his tenure in Carolina. They released him in late March, and I was pissed off with the Panthers because I felt like they knew they didn't want to bring Cam Newton back. They didn't give Cam Newton a chance to explore him in free agency. What ended up happening was teams that went through the NFL draft, they went through NFL free agency, they had their quarterback for the future. So therefore, they didn't have to go through that process again. So by the time Cam Newton got released by the Panthers, he was already late arriving to NFL free agency. And teams had already had their quarterbacks that they wanted. I didn't like the way the Carolina Panthers disrespected Cam. And they even had a Twitter poll question last week on their Twitter. And they asked the question, who's the best player in Carolina Panthers history? They had Luke Kuechly on there, Julius Peppers, and Steve Smith. They didn't even have Cam Newton as one of the candidates that was one of the best players in Panther history, Clarence. That's so disrespectful.
It's disrespectful though, Trey. It really is, because at the same time, Cam Newton took them to a Super Bowl since 2005 or 6, the last time the Carolina Panthers went to the Super Bowl.
2015.
Way before. Yeah, I'm saying before, when Cam Newton got there. He took them to a Super Bowl 4 years into the league. Like, that just tell you, like, yeah, this guy can really play at the level. And I'm gonna just say this. You know, his 58 rushing touchdowns, that's the most out of his rookie class. So he's definitely a legitimate dual threat. Now, my biggest concerns is like, do I think he can produce at the elite level? Yes, but here's the little caution thing. Their schedule is definitely a challenge, because if Cam Newton start week 1, their first challenge is right then and there. It's the Miami Dolphins, like an improved defense, a young team that's on the rise. Now I'm here. Look at this, Trey. They got 5 primetime games. 4 out of them 5 primetime games are playoff teams. So that's gonna be very interesting if Bill Belichick is gonna start Cam Newton or Jared Stidham. But for me, I'm aiming towards Cam, man. He's probably the best quarterback in that division right now as we speak.
Easily Cam Newton's the best quarterback in the division. Like you said, you stated the obvious. Like, it's like the sun is shining today. Like, that's the obvious. He's the best quarterback in the AFC East by far. Like, Josh Allen, he couldn't shine Cam Newton's shoes on his best day. But let me say this.
Hold on.
What?
Look, Josh Allen and Sam Darnold and Tua, them are amazing. Them are quarterbacks that's gonna be amazing for the future. But for Josh Allen, he still got the edge though. You know, 17 rushing touchdowns in 2 year span. That's second behind Lamar Jackson. That's impressive. I can't give you that. And one thing about Cam Newton, the biggest question for him is, can he throw over 30 yards? You know, he's been having the shoulder injury, the lymphedema injury. So that would be one of the biggest questions. Can Cam Newton throw over 30 yards? And you know, New England, Belichick, he loved taking shots. So that's going to be the main target we're going to be watching, man. Definitely.
Yeah, I want to say this too, because I want to ask you about these Patriots offense. Do you believe the Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick, do you believe they will have to change up their offensive scheme to fit Cam Newton's skill set? Do you think they're going to have to change things up?
Oh, yeah. No, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer that they is going to have to change up their scheme. Listen, they're so used to playing with a traditional quarterback, Brady, 20-plus years.
Yeah.
Now they bringing in a whole different type of quarterback, a dual-threat quarterback at that, a quarterback that can throw and run. So they're going to have to exchange some few plays. But in New England, anything goes for that system. If he can fit right into the system, hey, his true talent might show for itself. He might do things for himself that New England don't expect him to do. That's just the level of leadership and like talent and this competitiveness in Cam Newton. That's just as simple as that. I'm very excited for Cam Newton, but if I was Josh McDaniel, I'm putting a lot of read options in there because at the same time, he's very effective in the read options. Very effective.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. They got to change the offense up because the offense that was built around Tom Brady's skill set was, you get the snap, throw it to your first read. No, they're going to have a lot of RPOs in this offense, a lot of run pass options. That's what Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick is going to have to do. And then they don't even have the skill set players, Clarence, to throw the ball around the yard. Like they got Mohamed Sanu. He was a disappointment when they traded for him last year. They got N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry was inconsistent last year at the receiver spot.
Hey,
Julian Edelman, he's the future, but he was inconsistent last year. Julian Edelman was injury prone most of the season. And as nice as Julian Edelman is, I never believed that Julian Edelman could be a number one receiver. So I think this team is going to be built on the running game with Cam Newton and Sony Michel and James White. I think that's going to be the primary players that's going to get the bulk of the carries. They're not going to be a team like they were built in the past, throwing the ball with Tom Brady all over the yard. This is going to be a team that's going to run the football and play great defense, and that's going to propel them to have some success in the AFC East.
Old school football, huh?
Yeah, but we'll see what happens. But one more question before we move on. Who has more of the prove, Cam Newton or Bill Belichick this upcoming season? Who got more to prove?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. You know what's funny? I've been thinking about that all day. Like, is this Bill Belichick moment to show that he's really the greatest coach of all time? Can Cam Newton come back and show these teams why he's really a legitimate starter? I had to weigh that, but I still think it's Bill Belichick because at the end of the day, before even Cam Newton even got signed, the schedule speaks for itself. 5 primetime games with a second-year quarterback and with his teaching abilities to like manipulate game plans, because they got a game plan every game against a team. Like this Dolphins team, they probably studying them right now. They gonna have a good game plan enough for them to win that game. I think if Belichick can succeed them in the coaching position, I think they will turn out fine. They won't probably be the best team in the AFC, but they'll be solid. I think it's Belichick, man. I think he got something to prove.
He got more to prove than Cam is the question.
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow, you're wrong. How the hell does he got more to prove than Cam Newton? When Bill Belichick, wait a minute, Bill Belichick is a 6-time Super Bowl champion head coach. Bill Belichick has a career record of 273 and 126, which means he's won, 68% of his games, Clarence, since he's been the head coach in the National Football League. Listen, hold on. He's arguably the greatest head coach of all time. The only questions that we have about Bill Belichick is to whether or not he can win without Tom Brady. When I look at Cam Newton,
exactly.
Right, but Cam Newton, a lot of people don't even think he's a consistent quarterback. He hasn't even been productive since the 2018 season. And the 2018 season, I'll give him credit. Before his injury against the Pittsburgh Steelers and TJ Watt, Cam Newton had 70% completion percentage, total yards per game, 283. He had a touchdown interception ratio at 22-7, passer rating 103, rushing yards 4. That was before his injury in the game against the Pittsburgh Steelers and TJ Watt. He injured his shoulder. So he was balling out that season with
He was getting blown out.
I say he was balling out. Can you listen? He was balling out that season. But other than that 2018 season, he's been inconsistent since his MVP season in 2015. I love Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton still has a lot to prove and still can play at a high level. But to say that Bill Belichick has more to prove than Cam Newton is ridiculous.
He does. He does. Now,
no.
Look, it probably was his master plan to bring in Cam Newton like, hey, I don't need Brady to lead the pack no more. I did 20 years with this guy. If he can bring in Cam Newton and turn him back into a star, all the praise is going back to Belichick, man, because he's a great coach. He's a great coach. If a great coach can elevate these former NFL all-pro quarterbacks, then that's just brilliant.
Right. If he's a great coach, that means he's already proven. So my question, okay, let me ask you a question. If both of them never played, like Bill Belichick never coached another game and Cam Newton never played another snap. Who's a for sure first ballot Hall of Famer? Is it Cam or is it Bill Belichick?
Yeah, it's definitely Belichick.
So Belichick doesn't have as much to prove as Cam Newton.
No, but yet he does though, because at the same time he was playing with Tom Brady, and you know the story. You know the story with him. Can he win with Brady? Win without Brady? Now this is a whole new year. Brady is on a new team. Now he's gambling by bringing in another former first round pick. Now he's gambling on himself. Like, hey, we're still in the mix, which I still probably don't think that he is, but that's for another story. That's for another day. But he's definitely betting on himself. Like, hey, I'm still the top dog. But that is something going to be very interesting to be watching.